So about 2 months ago now, I made a video calling out Sony for pretty much saying that they weren't going to be adding 1440p support to the PS5 unless enough people requested it. Well, it's been almost 3 months now since the PS5 has actually been out in the market, and I know it's still pretty much impossible to find one, but I want to know what's going to happen with this because I know I'm not the only one who prefers 1440p over 4K. Let's do it. Let me just say that the fact that Sony didn't include this at launch and still hasn't even been able to add this in an update is not only stupid to me, but it's just really annoying. I mean, obviously the PS5 is capable of doing 1440p, it's capable of doing 4K. I don't understand why Sony hasn't even addressed this in any type of, press release or anything. I mean, to my knowledge, lately they haven't said anything, and I actually looked it up to see if they've said anything else. But if you found something, please feel free to point me in the right direction. I want to know what Sony has said about this, but what I was able to find is the same thing that they said a day after the console came out, which was that the PS5 currently doesn't support 1440p resolution due to Sony having focused on TV displays. As reported earlier, this isn't a technical issue, and Sony has said that native 1440p support might be added in the future update if there's enough demand for it. And it says right there, in a future update if there's enough demand for it. And I've been seeing people on Twitter, I've been seeing people in my comment section here on YouTube asking me or just wondering in general what's going to be happening with this. And honestly, Sony, what's going to happen with this? Again, the fact that the PS5 didn't have this at launch is it's so stupid to me because it just doesn't make sense. Right there in what I read, it does say that Sony was primarily focusing on TV displays when they made the console, but that's also not okay, because how are you going to try and just make the customer use your product how you want them to use it? That's not fair to us. That's not fair to the people that were waiting for this console to come out. It's not fair to the people that are still waiting to get one, because it's like pretty much impossible to find one right now still, even after 3 months, which is also embarrassing for them, but that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother day. But the point is, Sony, it's not like the PS5 can't do this. It's not like the PS5 isn't capable of having native 1440p support. So the fact that this still isn't here, the fact that you still haven't been able to release it in an update after you said that if there was enough demand you would, is just stupid. It doesn't make sense to me. And I absolutely hate sounding like a fanboy or sounding like I'm trying to feed into the console wars, because if you've been a fan of the channel or if you've been following me for a while, you know how I feel about that shit. And don't even hit me with that fanboy shit, man, because this is just facts. But look at Microsoft, look at the Series X, look at the Series S, even the Xbox One X and S had 1440p options. They had that support. And why doesn't the PS5 have it? It just doesn't make sense. They said it themselves. If there's enough demand for it, they would add it in an update. Well, this is me demanding for it, and if anybody else who will support this video, that's them demanding for it too, because we want to know what's going to happen with it. It doesn't make sense that this still hasn't been addressed. It doesn't make sense that this is still something that we're talking about 3 months after the console came out. Honestly, in my opinion, this shit should have been with the PS5 from launch. It doesn't make sense that it hasn't even been here. It should have been there since launch, because it just doesn't make sense. Why make a console that's so strong, that's so capable, and remove an option from which the customer can enjoy that console, in which they can enjoy that product? It just doesn't make sense to me. And don't get me wrong, I've been loving my PS5. I've been having a great time with it, but I know I'm not the only person out there who went out and got a 1440p display specifically for the next gen systems. Whether you got it for the PS5 or Series X, I know there's been a lot of people who just naturally prefer 1440p over 4K. There's people like me who prefer to have a lower resolution and higher frames versus a higher resolution and lower frames. And I know a lot of people are going to say, dude, it just sounds like you're bitching, just get a better monitor or build a PC, but that's not the point. The point is that Sony made a console that's capable enough of doing this, but still hasn't addressed anything about this and still hasn't even included this since launch, when it should have been there from the very beginning. A lot of people out there nowadays, a lot of gamers prefer gaming on monitors, prefer, again, the higher frames. They prefer smaller screens so they can just look at the monitor. It's just more immersive, in my opinion. In my personal opinion, it's been better playing on a monitor compared to a TV. And again, in what I read, it does say that Sony primarily focused on TV displays when making the PS5. And I get it, because Sony makes TVs, but again, that's not okay. It's not fair to try and make the customer use your product how you want them to use it. That's bullshit, in my opinion. Because if you make a product that's capable of doing all these things, give the customer options. Give the customer accessibility on how to use the product the way they want to use it, not the way you want them to use it. At the end of the day, I just want to know what the hell's going to happen with this, because again, I know I'm not the only person out there who went out and got a 1440p display hoping, and it's just common sense. It was kind of a no-brainer for me. I just figured that the PS5 would have native 1440p support, but it still doesn't. And to my knowledge, Sony still hasn't said anything. But again, if you know that Sony has said something more recently about this, please feel free to point me in the right direction. I really want to know what they've said about this, if they've said anything more recently about it. But with all that being said, my name's Nico. Thank you so much to all of you for watching this video. Let me know what you think about this. Do you have a PS5? Have you been lucky enough to get one? Do you want 1440p support in it? Do you not? Let me know. But with all that being said, thank you again so much to all of you for watching. My name's Nico. You already know what to do. Remember that you're amazing, and I'll see all of you in the next one.